9397 Network and Hot 9397 presents Sapphire'S Soup du Jour with Just Bob, stirring the pot and serving the latest soup. Brought to you by Hey Love Saloon, Adam's Apple, Janet'sCloset.com, and Janet'sDungeon.com.
Well, Bob ain't here. Good morning. 7 o'clock, well, ish. 7 a.m. Yeah, we don't count the seconds, but, well, we do over here on the radio side of it. But how's it going? Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Bob ain't here. Let me get us, there we go. Good morning. It's Wednesday. That's all I got to say. We're in for a whale of a time today. We're having a history lesson. If you watched my video, a lesson on the First Amendment, freedom of speech, an English lesson, consequences, what the word means, and we're going to tie those together, obviously. But we have a lot of other things to talk about too. One of the things we talk about on here is animals. And when do we have more rights than them? There was a story I didn't get to the other day that bothered me. And now there's another story that is the same situation-ish. And we're going to talk about it because I think you know how I feel if you've watched and listened enough. But we'll be talking about that. TikTok, Kanye, a history lesson, grizzly bears, an Iowa daughter accusing her father of crazy, nothing, no criminals, sexual conduct or anything like that. So that wouldn't go into a juicy whodunit type story, right? Those are more like how could you type story. And we've got a lot of that in the world. We have to align ourselves to not, like Big Sean, I don't F with that, right? That's what we got to get back to. Today's show is going to be interesting. You better make sure you tune in and chime in because we're talking about freedom of speech today. But English also consequences, right? We've got plenty of examples to go by. We got a minute 30 before we go on the air. We're on the air, but we're not on the air right now live talking, right? We got music playing. Mama Said Knock You Out from LL Cool J is currently spinning on the turntable. Back in the old days there. The coffee's tasting good. I woke up this morning. My alarm goes off at 3:30. I woke up at around 3:15, 3:12 actually. It was 3:12. I couldn't get back to sleep. I was excited, you know. Be sure if you're watching on the live stream, first of all, thank you for watching and listening and supporting and all that. But I've been struggling to see the comments until afterwards on my phone. So I apologize that I tell you, be sure to chime in and be part of the conversation. Believe you me when I tell you that I am looking for comments from you. But I try to stay off my phone, especially for the video aspect of it. If we're not on the video part, it wouldn't matter. You can sit here. I'm already wearing a Tigers t-shirt. And all right, here we go. Sorry to interrupt my babbling. I don't know if you can hear that or not.
Initiating launch sequence.
You probably cannot hear that. I can't turn it up full blast, so. Who knows? We'll see. Oop. Man, I don't want to hit the wrong button over there. That's what's scary. You drag your hand across that keyboard when this thing's live. You don't know what's about to happen. Why would I mute this? Just take it out, babe.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's about to happen. Oh, it's hump day. Can you believe it? We are almost through October already. And time flies when you're having fun. And in life where we're supposed to be miserable, I don't buy into it. I'm feeling good today. I woke up early. I was just talking about it on the live stream broadcast. Not only are you listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour either on the 9397 Network app, the 9397network.com, maybe you're listening somewhere on a dial. I have no idea how you're listening right now, but we appreciate you listening. You may be watching on the live stream broadcast. We live stream broadcast on all of our social media networks, including 9397 Network's YouTube page. So there's a lot of access to us here. So we try to get everybody feeling good, and then we slap you with some hard stuff. No, just kidding. That didn't sound right. That's not what I meant. Thank you very much. But hey, we get the day started like that. So Stu checking in. Good morning. Good morning, handsome man. Stu checking in. Tony, good morning. Tony is the owner of Big T's Bait Shop. I don't know what it's actually called. It's custom spinners and stuff. We'll be having him on in the spring because, as you know, my return. Okay, let's get rid of the song. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Great. That's great. Good morning. As you know, if you've been listening to our third season, I bought a little raft and turned it into a boat. And I bought a fishing pole, and I'm learning how to do it all. I'm going to learn how to do it. I even YouTubed how to cut the fish up and eat it. So, and I've done it before, but it turned into fish nuggets with bone and skin hanging and everything. It was terrible, but it's nature. And at my age, I'm ready to get back into some nature. Not all natural. Yeah, but thank you for tuning in. Be sure to chime in on the 9397 Network app. It's a free download. You go into your Google Play Store, or if you go iTunes or iPad or whatever they call it, wherever you get your apps from, you download the 9397 Network app. You chime in on, it's like UChat, or so it's on a social network, UChat, something like that. You chime in there. It's like a social media page. You click the tab, and then you get to chime in and say, hey, maybe we're talking about something that strikes a nerve. Let me know if I'm wrong in your opinion, because I'm only giving my opinion, right? If I'm talking about something I feel, maybe I'm wrong to you. Maybe I'm right to others. That's the beauty of America. And one of the things, we're not getting into it right yet, but right from the start today, we are talking about freedom of speech. And I know you already know the example. We can still make it happen. Let me turn all this down so I'm just talking to you and not myself. Yeah, there we go. I sound much better on mute, at least in the studio. Yeah, I don't think it would sound too good on the air. But here we sit. All right. Houston Astros, Philadelphia Phillies. I believe game one's tonight for the World Series, right? And I could be wrong. I don't care. That's not what I'm talking about. Houston Astros in the World Series again for 4 out of 6 years or something like that. The Phillies are back in it. So, and they go back a long ways. So that's all good and fine. But my thing is this, Elton John. Now, I know you're going to ask me, what in the world does Elton John have to do with the Houston Astros and the Philadelphia Phillies, right? And then somebody's going to say, well, duh, he's going to be singing the national anthem or throwing out the first pitch. And I would say, insert buzzer noise here. Well, that wasn't a buzzer noise, but close enough. Okay, so no, Elton John is not throwing out the first pitch. Elton John is not singing Take Me Out to the Ballpark or the national anthem. He's also not singing a damn thing that day because he's canceling his entire concert in Minute Maid Park, scheduled in November, because of the Houston Astros, because they advanced to the playoffs, right? So they officially announced that Elton John will not be performing Friday, November 4th. Show is canceled. I'm about to cry. Will not be rescheduled. Okay, Elton John. Not just Elton John, Elton freaking John, right? Just one of those people that is endearing, I guess was what be to me. I mean, he just looks like somebody that he might be a diva. Maybe he's a prick. Who knows? But he just looks like, I'm looking at a picture of him. He looks like a nice guy. I mean, he looks like a cool dude. You sit down and have a pint of beer with him or something, or maybe he's maybe like me, I like screwdrivers, right? Vodka and orange juice. They're good. They're good for you. Well, let's not stretch it. Okay. There's some good elements in there, right? So this highly anticipated show canceled with no rescheduling date coming. Not save your ticket. No, your SOL. The Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour, which was his goodbye tour, right? Farewell. Bye-bye. No more. So if he was coming to Houston, maybe, just maybe, he's going to Dallas, right? Maybe Elton can say, well, why would he not reschedule? Maybe he's mad because they don't care about baseball. Elton John, I don't think, cares about baseball. This was one of the most anticipated and talked about shows in Houston, right? So if you're listening down in Houston today, chime in. You know what I mean? Let us know how that feels. Now, I'm sure the tickets will be refunded. Yes, they will. Automatically refunded. That's just too bad. It's a bummer. Never again. So you plan, like, and these tickets, I'm sure, are not $65, right? We're probably talking upwards of maybe $1,200, maybe more. I don't know. So yeah, it's an event. And I was talking to someone yesterday that was so excited. They're a younger person and telling me that they just spent $1,200 to go see their favorite band, Static X. The original singer has passed away. May he rest in peace. Wayne, I forget his name, or his last name, but may he rest in peace. So I go, $1,200. He goes, but I get to meet the band. Not only do I get to meet the band, I get to be on stage with them, and I'm actually handing the guitar to the guitar player for one of his parts. So more than likely, they're starting with one guitar tuned a certain way, and then they need to switch it. So they're going to use two guitars. So they need someone up there. So every city they go to, they go, hey, we're going to let a fan who pays $1,200 to see me get on stage and get to be a part of the show. I think that's awesome. You talk, and is it worth the money? You decide that on your own. For me to meet another human being, absolutely not. Right? But that doesn't mean that it's a bad investment for somebody else, because it's a memory that you can take with you where the money, had you saved the money and put it in the bank and died the next week, the money would have been there. The memory never would have happened. And you'd have been sitting there basically going, wow, that was a loss. So the money is not the most important thing, right? The memory is. There's kind of a life lesson here. This whole show is going to be family values or lack thereof, and educational. Man, we're talking freedom of speech today. We're talking English lesson, consequences. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. For every word and phrase you're allowed to say, You're also allowed for people to say, you can't say that, right? I mean, it's just crazy. So anyway, Houston fans, we apologize for the fact that you are not going to get to see Elton John possibly ever. Could you imagine? I mean, all right. So here we go. We're 15 minutes in at 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Thank you for, if you're waking up with us, thanks for waking up with us. If you're you're in France or somewhere having a croissant, happy afternoon. I don't know if you say that. Good afternoon. That would be it. Or well afternoon, right? Anywho, I'm all fired up today. I don't understand why. I guess it's called a good night's sleep, doing what you love to do, and lots of coffee. I had a good night's sleep. I actually, I'm happy. I'll be honest with you. I had a date last night. No, well, it was a date, but it wasn't a date. Played pool and played darts with some friends that I haven't seen, some in a couple months in a social setting. Only one of them is a bartender, and I go to the Adam's Apple. Love the place. It is the place to go if you're in the Detroit area. You can check them out on Facebook. But if you're in the Detroit area, definitely stop at the Adam's Apple, have yourself an adult beverage. There's people that go there that do not drink alcohol. And they sit there on the patio. Oh, but it's too cold right now. Don't worry about it. There's a heater out there. Not only that, late November, sometime, I don't know exactly when, but they wrap the gazebo so there's no snow and ice everywhere. So that people that want to go sit outside can still do so and not freeze their tush off. Adam's Apple, place to be, I'm telling you. Hayloft Saloon, but janetscloset.com and janetsdungeon.com. You got to check that out too. So there's our sponsors, proud sponsorship, and very happy to be a customer to all of these places. I get all my butt plugs from Janet's Dungeon. Just kidding. Good Lord. Calm down, Mary. All right, so we're going to talk about freedom of speech, and you know what leads me into this. I don't even have to preemptively pitch this to you. Kanye. And I'm going to retract from last week because I made a big mistake. I pronounced his name wrong. I do not go for mispronunciation of names and pronouns and nicknames. If you want to be called Bubba, you're Bubba. If you want to be called Betsy, you're Betsy. I don't care, right? I got better things to do with my time than worry about whether or not I should listen to you. Because on a football team, Busters, whatever their nicknames are, Tank and, stuff like that. People love to call him that. Oh, that's TJ. Why do you call him TJ? Well, his name's Tommy Johnny, but we figure, two first names and ending in Y, it'd be easier to say TJ. Right? Kanye changed his legal name to Ye. We talked about that briefly last week when we were talking about Ye, and I called him something out, Ye, because then I kind of questioned myself, and I go, but it's Kanye, so I'm wondering if it's not Ye. Well, yesterday, while watching a news segment on Ye, that's how they pronounced it. So I trust that they know, they do the background check on it that I should have done the due diligence on. But hey, what are you going to do? So Kanye, also known as Ye, his new name, legal name, Ye. Adidas has terminated their partnership with him because they do not condone anti-Semitism, right? And there's the anti-Semitic remarks that he made. Not only that, but the controversial wearing of the White Lives Matter shirts, just everything that he's doing. He reminds me of a not so seasoned celebrity and entertainer, right? These are the things the younger ones do. And then the seasoned entertainers like, oh, I don't know, Motley Crue from back in the 80s who used to throw things out of hotel rooms and stuff like that. Windows. They look back and go, no, come on. So that's what we did when we were younger. right? But now Kanye, don't know his age, Ye, sorry. See how that is? I don't mean to be disrespectful, just ignorant, right? So how do you start doing all these things? Is he showing his hatred? Is he being is he just trying to market by controversy? Any publicity is good publicity, which is the younger, naive way of doing things. Once you've got a brand and a name of yourself, you've branded you, right? He's not Kanye West from, the Backstreet Boys or something like that. He made his own thing, did he not? Or was he part of a boy band type thing? I don't know. Maybe he was. I know he wasn't in Run DMC, but why choose to do that? That's my thing. What you have, so this is why we're talking freedom of speech today. Kanye West has the right to state his opinion. Now, just because you have the right to do so doesn't always mean you should do so. However, you can't blame somebody for honestly speaking their mind. That is freedom of speech. Oh, you want the definition? No problem. The First Amendment guarantees our right to free expression and free association, which means that the government does not have the right to forbid us from saying what we like and writing what we like. We can form clubs and organizations. We can take part in demonstrations and rallies. That is a right of an American citizen. You can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Now, there are limitations, right? Fighting words. Fighting words. There's limitations. Words that provoke or incite violence, right? The definition of fighting words, it's a legal defense back in the day. We've talked about this back in the day, right? Fighting words are words meant to incite violence such that they may not be protected under the free speech of the First Amendment. In Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire, I know this stuff off the top of my head, 1942, words which by their very utterance inflict injury or tend to incite an immediate breach of peace. This is why racially charged words, hateful words are frowned upon and actually not protected under the First Amendment. An immediate breach of peace. If I know what I'm saying to you, it's not going to just make you angry. I'm not just calling you ugly. I'm not just saying, oh, you're fat. I'm uttering words to say, I'm going to beat your face in with a baseball bat. You can't just go around saying that, right? So there's things, but even when you say things that are allowed under the First Amendment, completely legal, there's a social aspect of it, right? That you have to understand. It's called consequences. For every action is an equal and opposite reaction. For everything that you say that you have the right to say, the very fact that you have to claim your right to say it means it's offensive to somebody, right? It's just like when you start out with, well, no disrespect, but what you're saying is, hang on to your hat, I'm about to disrespect you, right? With all due respect. Well, we know that. So Kanye being able to freely express himself through a t-shirt by words stating his opinion, he feels what he said is true. Can't clock him for that. But what you can do is what Adidas did, right? And what a couple of other people are doing. Adidas cut ties with Kanye, right? Now, didn't Kanye sing something about when it starts to get crazy, then run away? Right, there's the bell. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. Adidas made an official statement ending production of Yeezy branded products, and stop all payments to Ye and his companies. Adidas will stop the Adidas Yeezy business with immediate effect. These, ladies and gentlemen, are the consequences for your words. You're allowed to say what you want, but I don't want to be associated with you. Be careful who you align yourself with. Kids listening on your way to school this morning. Good morning. Your mom and dad are a poor judge of character letting you listen to me, but thanks for listening nonetheless. Don't do these things, right? Let this be a lesson to you. Sometimes it is better to keep your opinion to yourself. And it's actually encouraged in some ways because we can't all just continually think it's okay to say things that are socially unacceptable, even though it's legal, right? So these are the consequences for your actions of continually speaking out. Even his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, come out and said, I don't condone any type of hate or violence toward any person. We got to get back to that completely. All this hurt and hate and anger and violence, it's sad. It's ridiculous. I look every day, it breaks my heart. Dogs and cats, you see the starving dogs that are chained to a fence, abandoned houses in their yards, and their skin and bones. One the other day, they rescued 3 dogs, 2 pups and a dad or a mom. The dad, actually. I think it was the dad they rescued because they named him Archie, and he died. I mean, they fed him. He was playing with toys, and they said he was eating, and then he died. But it's heartbreaking to know that that's because of human beings. Why would we speak words of hatred just to be hateful? But we all do it, right? Now, maybe not racially charged, maybe not sexual harassment type thing, maybe not the glass ceiling type thing, maybe it's not, we don't believe women should work in the workplace, and maybe nothing like that, but maybe it's something else. Maybe it's the way you handle conflict, right? If you're combative all the time, we're always on the defensive, but I don't get why. And for Kanye, it makes no sense, right? There's more questions than answers for any of this. Well, now he's even got other people backing out. He's got a couple of other people. What is it? Aaron Donald from the Los Angeles Rams, Jaylen Brown. They're leaving Kanye West's Donda Sports Agency because they're saying, look, you can't, especially he's a black man in America, right? You've got your own struggles, man, but you're a billionaire. Well, he was. It looks like he's not a billionaire anymore now. But who cares about the money? I feel bad he feels the need to do this kind of stuff. But so now, Aaron Donald gone from the Rams. He and his wife Erica said their family decided to leave the company due to recent comments and displays of hate and anti-Semitism, which is the exact opposite of how we choose to live our lives and raise our children. Perfect example. Yesterday, I'm driving, middle of the day. It's beautiful. Detroit, Michigan area. I'm in Dearborn. It's 70 degrees. The sun's shining. Driving in the afternoon. There's a man on the street corner up on a little self-made platform with a megaphone, with the sign, with a religious a religious saying, and he's preaching peace, and he's preaching the Bible and stuff like that. To each their own. I'd rather that than out being trouble. So some young lady, maybe in her teens, maybe young 20s, yells out to him, show us your boobs. And he goes, really? You're evil. Why would you speak to an elderly man that way? Why would you speak to me that way as a young woman? And then he goes, do you have a child in the back seat? You're talking to me that way? I gave him a 2 thumbs up. I didn't confront this weird bimbo because you don't confront people on the street. You don't know what they're capable of, right? Not my hill to die on. Literally, you could, you know. So I just looked over and thought to myself, what? He's right. Now, I don't necessarily feel the need to go up there and preach like that, but he's trying to make a difference in his own way. And for her to say that, and she says, oh, come on, have a little fun. But he was 100% right. You've got a young child in there, and you're screaming out the window at somebody that, show us your boobs, to a man, just being silly. But it made me realize, you know what? Yeah, we are in trouble as a society. And that's not a big deal. There's been much worse done. I've done much worse than that. We've all done worse. That's not a big deal. But the point of the matter is, that is indicative of what our children are being brought up around a lot. And sometimes it's even worse. We think they're playing a cute little race game, Grand Theft Auto they're playing, which you have to be despicable. But I can't even play it. I bought that game. I cannot play it. I cannot do it. I cannot pretend to do that stuff. When I realized how you get points, I'm like, oh, absolutely not. I'm not jumping out of my car and beating up a completely helpless woman. Crazy talk. So, yeah. But this is what we got going on. So, Aaron Donald gone. You know, Jaylen Brown gone. And they're saying, wait a minute. But as a black man in America, he has his own sort of struggles. So, being rich, you still have the same sort of struggles, maybe not financially, right? Maybe you're free to be around a different class, financial class of people. Because just because you got money don't mean you have class. It's a financial class. There's some very, very classy people that live on the streets. Just because they can't shower doesn't mean they're not classy. Integrity, self-respect, dignity, doing the right thing when nobody's watching. But what is the right thing? We don't know anymore. At least that's what it seems like. So yay, they said no thanks. As parents and members of society, we felt the responsibility to send a clear message that hateful words and actions have consequences and that we must do better as human beings. We do not feel our beliefs, voices, and actions belong anywhere near a space that misrepresents and oppresses people of any background, ethnicity, or race. I mean, and that's from Aaron Donald and his wife, Erica. Yeah, so that's what happens. See, now there are those things where people go, yeah, well, I don't care. I'm going to say it. You have that right. But it's also things we have to think about. Forget the amendment. Forget the fighting words, right? Because we now consider, like Will Smith, and I know we're going to talk about the slap for a second. Some people said, well, you know what? Don't talk about his wife. And then others said, yeah, but she was legs up under some other dude and you didn't care about that. Those are different things altogether, though, right? We can't judge what goes on in someone's bedroom. Or someone else's bedroom, or whatever we're talking about. But fighting words are immediate threat of violence, right? Not, you called my mom something, you disrespected my mom. It's 2023. Those days are done. In 1942, the Supreme Court defined fighting words as words by their very utterance inflict injury or intend to incite an immediate breach of peace. 1942, Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire. So it's talked about, and it's been a while. So my thing is, forget the law of matter or the matter of law. Let's talk about doing the right thing because we just want to be good people, right? Do you not speed down the road because you don't want to get caught? Or if you get the chance to speed, you're going to speed because you know there's no cops around, and then you'll slow back down when there might be a cop because you are dangerous. you are the ones who are actually the most dangerous, because you are, and I'm not talking about on the road, people, you're dangerous people, right? Because you're breaking the law, because you don't care about the rule of law. Maybe it's because Donald Trump said law and order, right? Once he said law and order, we go, can't have that, right? And then if Joe Biden goes and says something, we can't have that either. Man, would I love to have been able to see what would have happened had, not that I wanted Donald Trump to win, because I don't think any of these guys are good for our country, but had he won, I would love to have seen how many Democrats said, I'm not getting that jab. Oh no. Because it was, you don't remember this because we like to have our head in the sand. But there was a point in time when both our president and vice president scoffed at it. I'm not getting that thing. No. Mm-mm. Now look at him. Yesterday, President Biden proudly rolled up his sleeve to get that booster. We'll never know. It's hypothetical, right? So it doesn't matter. But fighting words are words of imminent danger, not you disrespected me. We're more worried about racial. We're more worried about people's weight, like with the thing with Lizzo, with Kanye. He had things about her saying it's an unhealthy. He had points of view that were not completely wrong. Maybe that's for your doctor to tell you need to adjust your diet, or you need to adjust your weight or something like that. I don't know that that's up to a person with millions of followers to go on there and be like, well, now I'm a doctor and you got to lose weight. Maybe, but it's not our place to say. Why do we care? That's the whole deal. So, all right, we are running a little behind, but that'll happen every now and again. All right, let's see where we're at here. We're really behind. Bob will be here in a little bit. He did touch base a little bit ago, but I was busy doing some things, so I seen him, but we did not speak. But he's definitely here today. We'll be getting back to some things. When we get back, we got another one of these TikTok trends that we got to talk about. A warning to all parents about TikTok. We're talking about the most affordable places to live in the United States. Affordable doesn't always mean most desirable. What is it you're looking for? Those are a lot of things you got to take into account, right? A recall, a marketing employee, sell them the bacteria, so they have to buy the disinfectant. We'll talk about that too coming up. We got a lot more coming up on Sapphire'S Soup du Jour. Keep it locked.
You're chilling with Sapphire on Sapphire'S Soup du Jour, only in the morning. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Sapphire here. Be sure to download the free. All right, let's see. I'm going to stick around on this for a minute. But we got to mute the music. Oh, this keyboard's dangerous. I got to tuck that in so I don't accidentally hit a button. Be sorry. All right, stream is on, mic is off, music's playing. It's a beautiful day. Oh, hopefully you guys are all doing good today. I'll tell you what, I'm in a good mood. I'm happy. I'm already looking forward to June. I got to do something about that. So what I'm doing, I'm a smart girl. All right. I'm not intelligent, but I'm a smart girl. If you can't beat them, join them mentality, right? I am not going to spend my winter dreaming for June. I can't wait to get my boat out on that water. It's going to be looked at and talked about and laughed at and giggled at. I could care less. It's all brand new and it's going to be mine. And believe me, you may beat me in a race if you got 4 people to row past me. I don't care. I'm going to be chilling like a villain. But until then, what can I do? I hope you guys can hear me. What can I do? Oh, I can find out if you can hear me. To pass the time. Well, what I will not do is sit and mope all winter. Okay? I'm going to find something, not skiing, not cross-country skiing, that's too much work. Downhill skiing, I mean, it's fun, but it's not like I could take it or leave it. So I need to find outdoor activities that I can get all bundled up and go do. And I don't know what that is yet, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to buy the ski pants. I'm going to buy the big coat. I've already got a good coat, but I'm going to get a heavier coat. I'm going to get the boots, like the snowmobile boots with the foam inserts, man, like the old days. I want fluff cold. So I'm out there in the cold. It don't bother me, right? Be out there for 2-3 hours and just be chilly, not frozen to the core, right? So let me get on Facebook here. Is it working? Yeah, it is. All right. Is it working? It is working. Good. Yeah, it is. All right. Now let me close that. So, all right. Now, I should have checked to see if the microphone was working. I don't know. But anyway, this is what I'm going to do right here. Sit just like this. Keep the microphone on me. That way I know. Whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, so I'm going to find something to do. I've thought about ice fishing, but I don't want to go on the ice. If I could ice fish from the shore, I'm your girl. I'll do it. But I'm not going out there. Oh, no, it's safe. Yeah, we see it's safe all the time. Famous last words for some of you suckers. Not me, baby. Nope, nope, nope. Not happening. If I can fish from the shore. But the thing is, in Michigan, at least southern Michigan, northern Michigan, it would be definitely icier, right? But it depends on the depth of the water, right? It depends on the current, right? Flowing water won't freeze as fast as stagnant or still water will. And I'm not a what would that be? Biologist? I don't know what they would call it, but I'm not one of them. I can tell you. If you don't know what it is, you aren't it. Just a little friendly advice. Just trying to help you out on hump day. Oh boy, oh boy. November 6th. I believe it is November 6th. We turn the clocks back, right? You spring forward, you fall backward. You know, part of me wants to get rid of daylight savings time, but part of me understands why we keep it. If we, like, for where we're at in the Detroit, Michigan area, I know that where you're at, it might be a little bit different. If you're in the East Coast listening, you are certainly getting the sun before we do. And then obviously our West Coast listeners, and then anybody overseas is 6-7 hours in front of us, right? So if you're in France listening right now, it's what? It's quarter to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's quarter to 3 or quarter to 2, something like that over there in the afternoon. So, but it wouldn't be getting light here in the Detroit area till about 9 o'clock a.m. And then it get dark about 6:30. I don't see. That's a late sunrise for me, but I think I would prefer that over the 5:30 dark. But no, my schedule, I get up at 3:30 in the morning, so when it's 5:30 and it gets dark, I'm usually in bed. Usually, lately it's been later, 9:30, between 9 and 10. But if I'm filming a football game that night, I won't get to bed till 11, 11:30, and then I got to get up at 3:30 the next day, and that could be a struggle putting them together. And we all go through it, you know. Hell, Stu, listening, watching Stu Beer Camp, he working crazy hours and all the time, right? And you go through that for several months, and then maybe you go back to normal a little bit, or hope you do, because nobody can work all the time. It's hard for it, it's where people start getting um, struggling to stay focused and make ends meet. And I don't mean financially, I mean complete all your goals for the day, right? You're robbing Peter to pay Paul to get things done. And it ends up, you get overwhelmed, and then finally you snap at somebody, and it's usually one of the persons that you want to snap at the least. And it happens. And then, of course, love is forgiving. So you go, I understand you're under a lot of stress, So let me change the banner here. Whoop! What did I just do? Download the free 93.97 Network app today. We come back officially on the air at 7:58 because I went late today. But my clock hour, although I could adhere to it to the second, I don't have to. So it's one of the nice things. I have a 3-hour slot to do what I want. But I like the music. I could talk the whole time if I wanted to. They wouldn't even care. No music at all. I could just talk for 3 hours straight. It's a lot of talking. No potty break. No chance to sip on some coffee real quick. Nothing. Just go. It's a lot of talk. But I can do it. Yeah, this coming up when we get back from our music break that we're currently on, we're going to be talking about this dangerous new TikTok trend. We got to get rid of that, man. First of all, I do believe it's Chinese spyware. I do believe it's an intentional app being used to dummy down our youth. And what's to gain by doing that? Oh, world dominance, money, power. And I don't know this to be true, but I can't confirm this, but if you look at all the stuff on TikTok that comes across our realm and look at everything that comes across their realm, you notice they're setting us up for failure. All these stupid challenges, the TikTok challenge, most of this stuff, I don't know if it comes up from people or if it's a pimped idea somebody else has and they pimp the people. But if this was going on Facebook or Twitter, wouldn't it be banned? Right? Can't you not allow dangerous activity on Facebook? Or they ban a lot of words, they ban a lot of sayings, they ban a lot of things that, like, you can't even say, man, that's the bomb, right? That could be flagged. That just means it's really super cool, right? So, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't get. That's one of them. So yeah, Kanye, he's a fool, man. I'm sorry. He's rich, but he's a fool. He's a damn fool. I think some people just lose touch of reality, right? They just don't, they just can't, they're not normal people anymore. It's like the 9 to 5 is like Monday through Friday, working that grind. It's the schedule everybody wants. That's not the end all be all, but it allows normalcy, right? It's very important if you're a family person that you want to spend a lot of time with your kids after school activities. It's very tough to do if you work 11 to 7 p.m., 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., or 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. You're missing all your children's things unless, of course, you have weekdays off and you work the weekends. Then that's a drag because then on the weekend, the kids are home all weekend and you got to work both days. The ideal family schedule is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. that's ideal, right? But it's not always feasible. But it's also not necessarily got to be the way anymore. It could be other ways to go about it, right? All right, we got another one, two. We have two songs after this. We come back at 7:58, but we are back. Obviously, we're talking, but we're not on the radio right now. So, but whatever. Oh, got a comment. Don't want to be rude. Harley, good morning, beautiful. Well, good morning, handsome man Harley. Hopefully everything's well. I know you're all fired up. It's bowling season, right? Do you still bowl? I don't know. Maybe you don't bowl anymore. I used to bowl. I was terrible at it. I bowled in leagues. I'd go practicing. My dad carried a 199 average. He bowled 300 game. Oh, Harley living in Lake Orion. I love it up there, by the way. Lake Orion's very nice. Good for you. Hope everything's going good for you. Getting ready for the winter time up here in Detroit, Michigan area. Well, Lake Orion's about an hour north of Detroit. And it's close enough that you still do the big city things. And it's far enough away that if you want to get away, you're away. Yeah, you're away. So, but Lake Orion's beautiful. It's one of them. Yeah, I see Harley. Yeah, I see that. Sorry to hear that. Divorces are never fun and they're always painful. Even for the people that want to get divorced, it's painful. It's something that we take very lightly, our vows and stuff now, but when things do go wrong, it's painful for both sides, right? Nobody gets away unscathed in a divorce, right? There's always scars of emotional, you wanted it to work out at one point in time, so. But yeah, Lake Orion's nice. It's that little town, they've got a couple of little fast food joints, they got a couple restaurants, they got some stores, but there's not a big nightlife up there, stuff like that. But you're close enough, you can still have a nightlife. You just got to drive a little ways for it. So it's not too bad. But Ubering would be tough. You've got to definitely have a designated driver if you're going to go drink adult beverages, because you don't want to be Ubering 15, 20 miles, I'm sure. It's probably expensive. But we are going out to a party Saturday night at the Adam's Apple. And because parking is limited and I want to drink, we're going to Uber there so I can have some adult beverages and enjoy ourselves and not worry about any issues like killing somebody on the way home because we wanted to be dumb. Couldn't imagine. So, freedom of speech, we already talked about all that. This TikTok thing, man. I know, and see, my initial thing, I look really today. Oh, thank you. Harley said I look really cute today. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, it's amazing what a shower will do to a girl. Most affordable places to live, speaking of Lake Orion and stuff like that. Affordable isn't always the best, right? We know that. There's the triangle, the law of triangle, I like to say. There's good, there's cheap, and there's fast. Pick two, because you can't have three. If it's good and fast, it won't be cheap. If it's cheap and fast, it won't be good. If it's good and cheap, it won't be fast. Just saying. It's triangle, and write good, fast, and cheap on each line on the triangle. You get 2 out of 3. Makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So I used to use that as a pitch when I was selling construction jobs and stuff like that. I was a construction superintendent back in the early 2000s. My background growing up was somebody who meant a lot to me, who's passed away now, who I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to, my ex-father-in-law, Butch Earl Kenedjian, taught me a lot And a lot of it was about building. Starting out when I was like 14, out on the job site, picking up debris and shingles. And, you know, you step on a nail. And for me, I stepped on a nail and I was done for. And he said, sit down. He pulled the claw of his hammer, pulled it out of my foot and said, it's all part of the job. It's all part of growing up. Well, it's like, whoa. So I loved it. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Be right back. All right. We got this playing in the lobby, and I could hear me talking in the lobby the whole time out there, so I had to turn it down a little bit because I don't need to hear myself talk. Bad enough you got to hear me talk. Christ's sake, I ain't gonna listen to me. Jeez, that's what's funny on that. Meet the Fockers, one of them. Meet the Parents, or the Fockers, one of them. When he the blonde Owen Wilson, Kevin in the movies, when he goes, Ben Stiller says, "Do you ever listen to yourself talk?" And he goes, "I try not to." Anyway. Derek checking in, also known as Cujo. You can catch them on the Good Times Show here on Hot 93.97 every weekday, I think at 2 p.m. Chime in, Derek, let me know what time, and I'll relay that to the listeners and watchers. The most affordable places to live come with the highest crime rates, unfortunately. That's true, too, you know. And that's kind of indicative of survival mode, right? Now, some people steal because they're trying to take advantage of in a lazy kind of way. Others, like the one time the guy, 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Good Time Show with Cujo and Princess of All, Monday through Friday. I know they're live in the studio Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but Monday through Friday, we're all on our time slots doing our thing. Maybe it's more music some days, maybe it's less talk, maybe it's something else going on, but we're always here. So, yeah. The guy here in the Detroit area, who we got a minute before we go back on the air, Big Papa's playing right now from Notorious B.I.G. The guy walks into a gas station, man, and he's like, I don't want to do this, man, but I'm taking this stuff, right? And he robbed a guy. He robbed him. And the guy was like, no, you don't got to do that. You don't got to do that. You can take what you need. Don't you even sweat it. Put that away. Put it away. You don't need to rob me. We're going to get you through this. No prosecution. The guy was like stealing food for his family, right? If that don't hit you right there, I mean, it's sad. So yeah, see, I get all worked up. All right, 15 seconds. All right, hold on. We'll get back to that conversation. All right, we're back on Hump Day, October 26th, I believe. My goodness, what are we at? 4 days away? Today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 5 days away from Halloween. Oh, hopefully you got your costumes ready. You got your treats ready for the little kids, and hopefully your neighborhood has a good trick-or-treating. So we got a good conversation going on, even when we were off the air conversing, because we are not only on the airwaves on 93.97 Network and Hot 93.97 on the 93.97 Network app, 93.97network.com, TuneIn Radio app, 93.97 Network. We also broadcast on our social media pages, live streaming from us to you. So a lot of ways to chime in. But we're sitting here, we started talking a little bit about Well, Harley checking in, one of our listeners, saying he's living in Lake Orion, Michigan right now. Lake Orion, Michigan is about 60 miles north of Detroit, and basically small town USA. So what brought us to this conversation was talking about the most affordable places to live. And then Cujo, also known as Derek, chiming in, who they go live later today and every weekday from 4 to 7, the Good Time Show right here on Hot 93.97 with Princess of All and Cujo. So we started talking about affordable places to live, and Derek says the most affordable places to live come with the highest crime rates, unfortunately. And a lot of times that's true. And then we started talking about why that is. And it's not always because of evil, right? It's not always the gang member trying to get money for the gang. It's not always the bad guy they're bad guys for stealing. But we were talking specifically off the air about the guy who was stealing from a gas station for food for his family, right? And the gas station attendant or the owner of the gas station said, no, you don't got to do this. We're going to get you through this. What do you need? Take. It's yours. No guns, nothing. So it's sad to think about that people, good men turning because of desperation to crime. That is not what America is about, period. I don't care. I know it's every man for themselves. It's every person can be who they want to be. And the harder you work, the more money you can make, and you can have the American dream. The American dream is not monetary money value. The American dream has nothing to do with making $1 million. The American dream has to do with what we were talking about the other day. The family that moved from Portland, Oregon to Stockholm, Maine, population 250 3 or 4 years ago, because they wanted a different way of life. They weren't going to have the $85,000 a year job. They weren't going to have the 6-figure salary and the BMW out front. They were going to have the beat up old pickup truck that they got to work 3 days on in the cold because they don't have a warranty, right? They're happy. That's their American dream. We talked all about that. So talking about affordable housing, I get sad for the fact that we have people food deprived in a country that we will spend $1,500 to go see an entertainer. And it's nothing, a knock against people that'll spend the money for whatever. It's not that. It's the point that it's sad that there's families, like Derek even chimed in, my family will get fed by any means necessary. And that's true. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's what people do, provide for their family, whether you're the father, the mother, whatever it is, right? So it's a loss of focus. We're more focused on Kanye saying dumb things, and it's something that needs to be addressed. There's no question we can't be running around spewing things like that. Even though, man, these all blend together so much because we've talked about mentorship on this program, about celebrity mentorship, and who guides your children. Well, Kanye helps guide our children. Because why? Because we put him on a pedestal, we put him out there. He's given the media to talk. He's given the mouthpiece, right? If Kanye's out doing something, you bet your sweet butt that there's people that want to get this on video. Abso-freaking-lutely. Part of the beauty of America, but part of the problem too. We should be more worried about different things. We're more worried about underage transgender sex changes that does not exist. There's been one child at 16 years old to get one, but yet we're arguing about it. In Michigan, it's argued about for the proposition. We talked about that specifically last week. We argue about things that don't even come to fruition. We have people that living in poverty that have to steal to survive for their kids. They're not stealing a Cadillac, they're stealing a Similac. I stole that from Rage Against the Machine song. He said, I jacked for Similac, not a Cadillac, to survive. Yeah. So, but that's the truth. But we should be so past that, right? We look down at people when they have to have government assistance, right? I don't think we look down at it anymore, but we used to. The food stamp thing, the EBT, whatever they call it, where you're at. So Derek chiming in on our social media network, doing the live stream. Kanye was in an interview saying, I can say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me. Turns out he was wrong and they dropped his butt. You're dang right. And you know what? That's the consequence of saying you're free to say it. He's free to have that opinion. I dare put my neck out there to say you are allowed to feel any type of way. Be careful when you express it. And we really need to get back to, there is a level of, I'm sorry, I just got to say something, right? There is that. Those are the times it completely affects your life. For example, I'm 19 years old, right? I was still a boy. I was going to get married. I was 19. I was about to go in the Air Force, and I didn't want to not have my girl, and I didn't want to necessarily, were we ready to get married? At 19, you're not ready to get married. I'm not trying to preach to you, but if you're 18, 19, and you're in love and you think you're going to get married, God bless you. I hope it works out for you, but you're not ready, right? But you still need all the support in the world. My mother had to speak her mind, had to, right? She said, you guys are making a big mistake. I do not like this. You're making a big mistake. She had to say something. Those are the times, that's my mother. So, Derek, I think Derek's saying I'm getting off track. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, flying high into the sun. Into the sky, I think it is. But it might be the sun. It's the Air Force fight song. Believe me, I know that. So, but yeah, okay, so you're right though, Derek. I am getting off track. We're talking about affordable housing, and then we go back to Kanye. But it was because we also talk about when comments come in, it does kind of change the trajectory of the conversation. But yes, back to the affordable housing and all that, because we already beat Kanye up enough today. But he does put himself out there as a punching bag pretty well. So yeah, back to the affordable housing thing. The lighthearted part of this is we're going to show you the best places to live, the most affordable places to live. Then we'll debate. Then you're going to debate whether or not these are the best places based on affordability. Because if you can go pay, $600 a month for rent for a 2-bedroom house with a basement, then you would be like, heck yeah, man, right? But if you, like Derek was saying, if you have a high crime area, what's the trade-off? So what we end up seeing is our big cities like Detroit, any big city, but I can speak about Detroit because I live there or near it. I'm not a Detroiter. I'm not going to claim that's really touchy around these parts, right? You don't claim Detroit if you don't live in the city, baby. But I live outside of the city, but it's close enough that I see it, right? Beautiful homes that have been run down. And it's easy to sit there and point the finger and go, look, they don't care about their home. Look at that, windows busted up and everything. But then we got to talk about what we just did talk about. High crime areas, right? There's a lot of blight. There's houses that are being used for illegal activity, abandoned homes and stuff like that, which what does that do? Lowers the property value, right? So then everything turns to a desperate type of situation, right? And you start going, wait a minute. I don't want to live like this. So you move. And when everybody moves, the houses are left. You go downtown, most areas, there's beautiful, like Detroit, Denver, Colorado, big, huge bungalows, beautiful big homes all around the Denver area, inside the city of Denver, in the city limits. I lived there on Scott and Bryant at 44th and Federal Boulevard. If you're in the Denver area right now, honk if you're down there right now. There used to be a 7-Eleven on the corner. Give me a Slurpee. And big, beautiful homes. But the problem is, once it's affordable, it's like Derek said, there's reasons it's affordable, and there's usually not attractive. One of the things I've always said, and it was a rule of thumb, but it's kind of disrespectful, but since we're being honest, let's be honest. One of the ways I gauge the style of the city or the area, the neighborhood, is I look in the gas stations. I look in the party stores. Is there glass between the customers and the person working? That's a warning sign, right? I don't want to live around that. Not everybody that lives around there is bad, but again, affordable housing. So we're going to be talking about that, and it's like, it's hard because it depends on what it is you actually are looking for, right? Yuma, Arizona, one of the top 10 most affordable places to live until you factor in your power bill for running your AC 24/7 just to keep your room at 80 degrees. I know, a lot of math right there, but hey, no biggie. So there's a lot of other things to factor in. One of the things Derek factored in right away was family safety, right? High crime area. You don't need your kids out there. You got young kids going to school in neighborhoods, out playing. We can't have all that, right? So the most affordable places to live in the United States with undervalued property that's rising in price, low taxes, and low unemployment, jobs to spare. We got plenty of work for you here. Problem is it sustainable? Like we were talking about the other day, going from Portland, Oregon to Stockholm, Maine, you are definitely taking a hit in your pay, right? The job market's going to be different, but there'll be jobs, but maybe it's not what you're used to doing, right? Can you milk a cow? Because we're looking for udder squirters. So this based on undervalued homes that are rising in value, low taxes, and good unemployment rate, right? Actually, and this is the number one, Johnson City, Tennessee, named the most affordable place to live. All right. Now, most affordable, yeah, maybe not the best. They sport a low 3.4% unemployment rate. The national rate is 3.5%. This was what was interesting to me. The median home listing price in Johnson City, $379,000, about $48,000 below the national average. So $379,000 plus $48,000. I don't do math in public, but that's about $425,000-ish. The average price for a house is $400,000+. I'm below average. Can't say that about a lot. Visalia, Porterville, California came in a surprising second as the most affordable. I don't know about that. I don't know any place in California that would be considered affordable. Is that affordable based on California, or is that affordable based on worldwide? And so Derek says, what if everyone got housing, but the size of your house depended on the amount of taxes you got taken out of your paycheck instead of rent or mortgage? Homeless would be in a dorm-style domain with mandatory job training programs. See? There's solutions out there, and people got good ideas. People would go, well, who would take care of the dorm style domains, right? Who would pay for that? Tax money would. But if we are a community, help take care of people, first and foremost, let's drain the swamp and get rid of all the corrupt politicians. Wait a minute, where's the laughter? Because you know that ain't going to happen. Yeah, that's crazy talk right there. But there's so many solutions and there's so many good ideas, and we could hybrid these ideas together into real good, solid solutions that make sense. A lot of times, ideas like this, I even said before, it wasn't my idea, but I seconded the notion, if you will. Forget income tax. You can't cheat income tax if it's just a federal sales tax on everything, right? That way, even the drug dealers are paying taxes, right? Because they don't pay taxes on their drug sales. Now, the dispensaries do, but your cocaine dealers, they just make money. So now, if you made it just a federal sales tax, everybody pays. But when you make $10 an hour and you work 40 hours a week, your paycheck is $400. There's no taxes taken out. We'll get you at the store. So that's the same concept that Derek's talking about. Everyone gets housing. The size of your house depends on the amount of taxes that get taken out of your paycheck. Now, I'm not opposed to paying taxes. Believe you me, I don't think they're bullcrap. I don't think that they're unjust. I think that they're being corruptly used, right? I think not exclusively, not 100% of it, but we already pay enough, right? It's no different than the food's short. We don't have a food shortage, right? And there may be certain things that are short here and there, but we can grow our own food, right? So to say, oh, there's a food shortage, we could squash that in a minute. Now, if there was a seed shortage and we couldn't get tomato seeds and cucumber seeds and all that, then you might be talking. But if they go, man, we're not going to be able to find tomatoes for 3 years, grow tomatoes. Ding, ding. So there's plenty of food wasted. We can definitely do that. So most affordable places to live. One I already said, Johnson City, Tennessee, right? Now they've got 50 of them here. We're not going to go through all 50. Indiana, they've got 3 in the top 5. No, I'm sorry, 3 in the top 6. Elkhart, Goshen, Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Lafayette, West Lafayette, Indiana. Everybody has their own things, and we always sit there, like for me, I go, I don't know how you can live like this. Well, you know what? Not everybody sees things the way I see things. When you grew up in a place, it's your home. There's something that is different. It's supposed to be special. I feel bad for the people. Like even where are we at with time? I'm going crazy today. I don't even care. This is like deep conversation. Forrest Gump. I'm not going off the train here. Jenny, the scene where she goes back home, throws rocks at the house because of what her dad did. There's no need for that anymore in our lives. We need to be able to do better, right? The old cliche saying, put in the work. Parents, it's our fault that our kids are shooting up schools, right? Somewhere along the line, we failed them. It may not be your fault legally. You may not be sitting in a jail cell like the morons in Oakland County, Michigan are, charged with 3 counts each of involuntary manslaughter because he bought the gun for his kid. His kid gave him the cash. You know, this is a tough one for me because I understand on one hand, right? You want to buy your kid a gun. It's kind of the American thing, right? You go out, you teach them how to shoot, but we're talking responsible gun ownership. We're talking about responsible people that understand the only reason to pull out your gun is to destroy something. That's all it's doing. Believe you me, you watch the movies, you think you're going to shoot somebody in the leg and they're just going to stand there and go, oh, it don't work that way, right? Now, if you got a little 9mm, you might put a hole in your leg. But you shoot them with a gun, it's not a pretty sight. So, yeah. But anyway, so Derek chimes in again, the crazy tax on lotto winnings. If you win the 700 million, if you win the 700 million Powerball, woo, man, Cujo, can you imagine the microphone you'd have? I'm only getting 400 million of it. Where's my other 300 million going? Do I get that back on income taxes? Amen. Well, good. You'll rest easy knowing that a lot of it goes to the schools. How can a politician, how could whoever approves that message get away with it? If the money was going to the schools, it's going to the schools that are already not needing it. Because in the inner cities, the teachers are struggling with just putting enough toilet paper in the bathrooms. All right. So get away from me with that. Derek chimes in, beside putting the gun in their hand, it's hard to say it's their parents' fault. I used to believe that until I had 8 kids. Some of these kids go rogue no matter how well you raise them. Very true. Very true. I agree with that completely. You cannot blame them for the killing. You can blame them, right, putting the gun in their hand, allowing that to take place. That is a consequence less severe than murder. But yeah, I agree. You can do the best. I know people, we all know people who did the best they could do for their kids and they still end up being no good for nothing kids, right? May he rest in peace. I got a cousin who strayed from the norm. Twins, identical twins, that one great career in the military, lived a great life, still living. The other one succumbed to the other lifestyle, has deceased, and spent time in and out of jail, prisons and stuff. Same upbringing, same parents, and completely different outcome. A lot of it has to do with who you associate with as a child. And I can tell you one thing, my father, he's passed away. Kudos to you, Dad, because I'll tell you what, he would come unannounced to my friend's house, pull me out of there without a bit of shame in his game. And because he knew. And every time he did it, he was 100% right. We were up to no good. So parents know. They can't even thank him enough for that. So he was a prick at the time, though. How embarrassing when you're 16 years old, about to get your joint on, and you go, hey, wait a minute. Not that I ever did that, but I'm just saying hypothetically, right? But, I mean, imagine, had I made the bad choices, I would have not been able to get in the military. I was 19 years old when I got married and joined the Air Force. I would have never been able to, it would have life-altering. Right. So the old man did some things wrong, but he did a lot right, too. But yeah, putting the gun in their hand, it's completely their liable. But yeah, to say, yeah, you're right. They can go rogue. So we got to take that into account, though. See, because I get worked up and I even forget I've got 4 kids. I don't want to be held accountable for everything they did. I'm like, I didn't teach them to do that. Who taught you to do that, kid? Well, that must have been your mom's side, because I was the dad at the time, and that ain't the way it worked. So, but all right, we are way over for break, but that's okay. We got a lot to say. I mean, what are you going to do? But when we get back, hopefully Just Bob can join us today. We're going to finish this up. We're going to be talking this TikTok trend warning. And man, we got to train our kids up in the way they will go. I would love to be able to say, just get rid of TikTok. But that's like saying get rid of guns. It's not going to happen. So we got to learn to get as many kids as we can to be shied away from it. How do we do that? That's a hell of a good question. But we're going to tackle it right here on Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. We'll be right back. That's how that works. Yeah, this list has got 50 different places on there, you know. I mean, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 songs. We come back at 8:42. We come back at 8:45. Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, the affordable housing thing, I'm I'm not big on big government. You know what I mean? I don't like government housing, and I don't like that terminology, right? The projects back in the day and all that. But we need it. But we need community involvement, right? The whole thing, like we talked about Monday, was people moving for a sense of community connection, right? I mean, and we don't have that. I brag almost about the fact that I cannot even identify my neighbors in a lineup. I've lived in the same house for 6 years, and I barely can recognize my neighbors if I had to. And that's not a good thing. And I'm not anti-neighborly. I got one of the ladies, Paula, that, when she's walking her dog, I'll be out in the yard talking. We'll stop and talk for a bit and stuff like that. I'm not rude, but we just do our own thing, right? But when we do see each other, we say, hey, but it's not like it used to be. And it's like you sit out there, we've said it before, you get home from work back in the 70s, it took you 15 minutes to get in the house because everybody's outside. There wasn't everybody watching TV. There were the kids and adults. At least when I grew up, we interacted a lot. Right now, I wouldn't talk to a neighbor kid without their parents being there because you might think I'm trying to offer them candy or something, and I'm not being silly. Think about it, right? As an adult talking to a child now, man, it's like I don't know about that. But back in the day, it'd be different. Like we'd see somebody, we'd be like, "Hey, Mr. Smith," and they'd be like, "How's it going?" And we don't have that connection anymore. That's where people are trying to get back to. Fashion trends do the same thing. The 70s clothing, the bell bottoms, the coming back. What was old is new again. It always regenerates. Life has always done that. I don't know if you can hear me without the microphone on. I don't know. Maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. But it's I don't know. I'm going to take a break for a second. I've been talking a lot today. A sip of coffee. I've still got a lot of coffee left. Usually this baby, but I guess when you get paid to talk, you talk. Which is something some people should do less of. Yay. So Derek, if you're still with us, talking about the lotto and everything. It is 700 million. Is that Powerball tonight? I'm going to have to give me a ticket or two. Actually, you know what? Go ahead and tend to that right now. Beautiful thing. You can throw all your money away online. Get me a ticket or two here for the Michigan lottery. The old Powerball. 700 million. You get 400, so they get 300 million in taxes. That's going to the state. $300 million. To me, it's just like, what? It gets so much done with that. Could you imagine if somebody gave you, if they said, pick a cause, right? And I said, dog rescue. And they said, here's 300 million. Could you imagine what we could do? Not a penny of that in my pocket. Zero in my pocket. I didn't even buy my lunch the day we were out doing this. All $300 million goes to the dogs, right? Could you imagine? How about stomping out hunger? $300 million to help feed the people who are, it's not about getting them into homes now. A lot of people that are homeless have a place to go. They do. A lot of the homeless people have a place to go. They don't go, whether it's mental illness, pride, whatever it is, there's places. A lot of times family will take them in, but they won't go. Can't judge people, and you don't know. We talked about it the one time, Mike Webster. You won't know who he is, but I'm going to tell you who he is. He was the center for the Pittsburgh Steelers back in their heyday when they won all the Super Bowls in the late 70s, early 80s. And he died in his young 50s living in his car. Dementia or whatever it was. And no idea. World champion, football star, best team around. You know. Derek says, can he said we should have the option. Either let the state use it to better the world, or we have to provide them with the proof of how we used it for good. They should be required to provide an itemized receipt of where the money went. Yeah, damn right. Can we make a petition to audit the tax system? Amen. All right, we got this. We got 2 songs after that. 3 songs after that. We just went to break. We got 8:45. Wait, let me make sure this is right. 1. Okay, we did Insane in the Membrane, Nelly. 3, 4, 5. Okay, yep, 8:45. Just making sure. I don't want to, If you win that money tonight, you would be auditing your tax system. You'd be like, whoop. Then you can just live off of the damn interest. Oh, yeah. 3 tickets, 1 drawing, $6, edit numbers. Oh, do I edit them or not? Do I take my chances? I'm leaving them the way they are. Continue. I'm in the mix. My hat's in the mix. I got 3 tickets. Oh, not yet. I didn't. Got to sign in. All right. We've got time. Oh, yeah. It breaks my heart seeing these stories about all these dogs and stuff. I got my tickets. The station budget's about to be huge. Yeah. They'd be like, hey, we need a part ownership in this, baby. You are the one we want. There we go. Let me make sure I got the same numbers. Oh, yeah. It's funny, too, because I like to tell the story about the guy in Port Huron, Michigan. Never played the lottery. Never. It was like $380 million. This was years ago. This was probably 20, 25 years ago. And he never played the lottery, right? But he owned a pool company. He employed people. They installed and they worked on pools, right? And he said he went in to some Quick Mart or whatever gas station. They sold hot dogs and stuff, and he bought a hot dog and a bag of chips and a pop, and it was like $4 or whatever. And he said, just put the rest on the lottery. It was 100. He gave him a $100 bill. So he bought like 94 tickets or something like that. So they were home. He said, I never bought them before. He said, so I go home. I told my family I bought lottery tickets. So we were sitting there watching. When you know it, he goes, we won $380 million. They go, you retiring? I said, I can't retire. All these people rely on me for their jobs, right? So no, company's going to remain. But yeah, you know what the employees are thinking. If this SOB does not give us a pay raise, the company I worked for before I went to broadcasting school, good company. They were good to me. They were good to me. Their owner had cut their hours and they had, laid some people off and times were tough. And he pulls in with a brand new Cadillac Escalade, right? And people were like, oh, yeah, times are tough, huh? Obviously, if it's time for a new car, it's time for a new car. You never know what people are going through, but it's the timing and all that. It's like kind of just like insensitive. Like, you like the homeless person goes, can you spare $1 for some food? I'm hungry. And you go, no, sure can. And you got a pocket full of money that falls out in front of you while you're eating 3 hot dogs and an order of nachos. You go, yeah, no, can't spare nothing. I'm starving. I need all this money. I got to go to the casino later. It's America. You can do what you want. But yeah, we could talk about winning that lottery all day long, man. But it's so upsetting when you wake up in the morning. Like I buy my tickets online. So if I win, I get an email. Like I won $30 one time. It's in your account. You got $30. You can transfer it. You can leave it in there, whatever. You imagine waking up and you getting that email. You won a prize, but it's too big. You got to go cash it. And then you look and it goes 400 million. You imagine making that transfer? I wouldn't even want to do it electronically. I'd be like, no, man. No, we're not messing this one up. 400 million? Ooh, I'm going shopping, baby. But the thing is, I already like my clothes. So how much more could I add to it? Obviously I'm going to buy a house, but like a car? Well, I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. I got one. I only use it to drive around. I don't, like, it's not a status thing, but who am I kidding? 400 million, I'm buying a car, bitch. We ain't even kidding. But I wouldn't. Now I think, nah, I wouldn't. But bitch, I would. So many people, it's so funny too. It's not funny, it's irony. People, excuse me, yawning, but I'm on break, so whatever. So many people that would do good with their money, and we automatically assume that the rich people don't. And it's like, but a lot of them do it anonymously because if they do it like the old saying, hey, let's feed the homeless and take a picture of it, hey, look at us. We frown on that, right? If you're going to do something out of the kindness of your heart, don't do it. Because you imagine how the homeless person feels just trying to eat. And then it's like, and that's the picture you get, So doing it, we always go, well, they got enough money. They could end world hunger. Well, maybe they are. Maybe they are one step at a time. Maybe they donate $1 million a year just to a food kitchen in their area. And we don't even know about it because they tell them, don't tell nobody. They don't need to know you have this money because donations might slow down for the food kitchen if they know, 9397 Network donated $1 million to them. Well, then other people are going to go, well, they don't need the money. Someone else does. So you know what I mean? And it's not being selfish. It's going, eventually this money will run out because we are all volunteer basis. And the homeless people that need help will never cease. But we can always, like Derek had said earlier in the show, some type of living where dorm style domains where even it is not a bad way of life. We put our military people in the dorms, right? And they live a normal life. They're younger. Then as you get older, you grow out of that. But you still have the shelter, which is what we need to survive. We need to not freeze to death and not overheat to death. We need water and food. That's it. You don't need cable TV, but don't think that we wouldn't have cable TV for them. In the day room, there'd be a kitchenette and there'd be a day room where everybody could go eat and mingle and watch TV. And if you wanted to have TV in your own personal room, you could do so. And since we're talking about affordable housing, it would be affordable, so you could afford it. The problem is over 60% of people allegedly today are living in America paycheck to paycheck. That's scary in itself. Add to the fact that the average home in sale in America is over 400 grand. I don't know about you, 400 grand is a lot of house, right? It's a lot of house. I have a hard time believing when I'm driving around, majority of the houses I see are 1,000 square foot ish. There's no way those are 400 grand. If so, man, I want to start getting into real estate. All right, let me change my banner here. Let's see. Banners. Well, for our sponsors, check out janetscloset.com and janetsdungeon.com. Also, visit Adam's Apple, the Detroit, Michigan LGBT Cheers Bar, and the Hay Love Saloon where men meet men, but everybody's welcome. I was there last night. Haven't been to the Hay Love Saloon in months, literally months, and played pool, played darts. It was amazing. Andrew and I, Jay and James, and the gang all showed up from the Adam's Apple to the Hayloft at around 7:30, but I left out of there about 8 because I had to cook grilled cheese for dinner. Been craving them. It's another one of those things. It's a winter thing. It's like, oh, it's like one of those things we're talking about with the seasons. Grilled cheese sandwich with tomato soup. Now, I did not have tomato soup yesterday. I had potato chip, nachos and cheese, actually, and grilled cheese. So, yeah, a lot of cheese in my diet yesterday. Probably not good for you, but delicious. Grilled ham and cheese, I love them. Oh, my goodness, man. Let's see, I'm looking at this list of most affordable places to live. There's not a place in Michigan on this list, the top 50. I find that somehow hard to believe. Not one Michigan city in the top 50. Interesting. I don't know. These are pretty nice houses they got for sale. These are not your average homes. $369,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,600 square foot, 8,800 square foot lot. That's in Johnson City, Tennessee. Yeah, I don't know about all that. I don't know. These are not your average houses. I'm sorry to say. These are big. 1,600 square foot home is not your average. 1,100 square foot, probably 1,000 square foot, somewhere in there. These are not your average home. An average home would be a first-time home buyer going to buy it. Not this. This is crazy talk. Hello.
Good morning.
How's it going?
It's going. It's, life is
Are you
full
running-
of daily antics, isn't it?
Huh?
Life is full of daily antics.
Yeah. Oh, that's the best part.
Oh, yeah. Good times.
So we're not on the air right now, but we're on this.
Okay.
You can hear me though?
Oh, yeah. I know. Peculiar, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you great.
Still hear me?
Yeah.
I'll be damned. All right. So I don't need this. I wasn't sure, so I kept it in front of me.
Right.
We got this song, and then we're back. So we got a minute.
Okay. Oh, good. Well, we got a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah. 1 minute. Oh, Lordy, what a day. It is 8:44. My day's almost half over. I love it. Oh, God. I like getting up early. I don't always like, I mean, when that alarm goes off, sometimes you're like, oh, I remember back in the old days when I didn't have to set an alarm because I worked late in the mornings or something like that. And it was always natural. You get up and you never had to worry about the alarm clock. That is kind of nice sometimes, but all right. Here we go. Uh-oh. All right. Wednesday morning is upon us. We're knee deep into Wednesday, actually. I'll tell you that right now. Stepping right in it.
It ain't so bad so far.
Yeah. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Good morning, Sapphire. Doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. I seen earlier that you had chimed in and checked in, and I didn't get to you in time. You had to leave, but I did see you there.
I just wanted you to know I had checked in.
Yeah.
Present and accounted for.
I've got the perfect marketing scam.
Oh, yeah?
Want to know it? Marketing ploy, not scam. Scam's an itchy word. Marketing ploy.
Okay.
Sell them the bacteria so they have to buy the disinfectant.
There you go.
Yeah. Clorox recalling cleaning products that may contain bacteria.
Great.
What are you cleaning your house with?
Well, now I wonder. What are they putting in those bottles?
Wiping down your kitchen with that bottle of Pine Sol all-purpose cleaner under your sink. Stop.
What are they? Toilet water in those bottles? What?
It may contain bacteria that can cause serious illness in people with compromised immune systems.
Wow.
I'm confused here. Clorox recalls its scented multi-surface cleaners and all-purpose cleaners. The recall does not include the iconic original pine-scented Pine Sol, which is the only product registered as a disinfectant.
I'm confused. Well, then what is bleach?
Well, I use Clorox to clean my bathroom.
Right.
I use the powder chemical 99-cent one. It gets gritty on the tub, and everything. It gets really clean, easy, and all that. And in the toilet, you just sprinkle it in there. But they've also got the spray kind, right, which is good for the shower walls and stuff like that. And you would think that you were disinfecting the bathroom because you want to kill all that bacteria that grows in there. But are we not done?
I don't know. I mean, I always thought we were, and I would always go by how strong the bleach was in my nose as to how clean we were getting. You know, it was.
I guess it's just bleach scented.
Well, that's unsavory.
So these products may contain bacteria, including Pseudomonas aeruginosa, an environmental organism found widely in soil and water. Much like COVID, the bacteria can enter the body if inhaled through the eyes or through a break in the skin.
Great. Although it seems like something we would have gained some natural exposure to if it's widely found in the water and dirt, and you walk around in bare feet with cracks on your skin. It's like
barefoot, pregnant, and in the kitchen.
Yes.
I mean, my biggest problem with this is that's almost like your soap getting dirty. How can your bar of soap get dirty? It's a bar of soap.
Right.
How can our Clorox bleach cleaner have bacteria in it? Wouldn't it kill the bacteria?
You would think, and the liquid would be different too. I mean, the bar of soap, if it sat around for a while, you get it wet and you just let the surface melt off, and then you're back to soap and you're good. But liquid, I would think, I don't know how that happens.
I'm picturing a boat that sinks and then catches fire. How does that happen? It's underwater. Water puts out fire. Oh, it was an electrical fire. It spread it. So your boat's floating along, and you didn't realize that you hit something, and now you got a hole in your boat, right? But there's no fire. Your boat sinks 20 feet into the water, and it catches fire because of an electrical problem. But it's all consumed in water. But we already know that an electrical fire, water's bad for it, right?
Yeah, that's what they... Was it electrical fire or a grease fire? I mean, a grease fire, water's bad, and you don't want to throw it on. You don't want to throw water on a grease fire.
Correct. So, but the mentality is, how can a boat underwater catch fire?
Right.
How can bacteria live in a Clorox cleaner? It's an all-purpose cleaner because it's not a disinfectant, even though we think it is. Not everything as it seems. I've always been skeptical of the new and improved, right? If you've got the number one product already, because I watch your commercial during Days of Our Lives, right? And you got the number one cleaning detergent in the world, then why do you need to come out with a new and improved one if it was already the best?
Only the best for your family, moms, you know. We just want to make sure.
Oh, lordy. Did you hear any of our freedom of speech discussion?
I missed a whole bunch of stuff this morning. Like I said, I had a few morning antics going on that needed attention. So, but we're locked in place here for the moment. This is good.
Awesome. All right, we got a comment. There's an echo on YouTube. Well, it shouldn't be because I turned everything down. So hopefully that fixes it. Or I turned not everything. I turned down my volume in here. So the other day, I come across a story and I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't get to it because it wasn't like top priority. But today I'm making a point to talk about it because something else just happened. A Wyoming hunter shoots themselves while trying to fight off an attacking grizzly bear. All right?
Okay.
I have no problem with this. If you're out and about in the woods and you encounter a bear, yeah, shoot it. Because you got to get away. You have the right to defend your life, even against an innocent animal who's just trying to be a natural survivor. So this Wyoming hunter is recovering Monday after he shot himself as he was trying to fight off an attacking grizzly bear. Right? Out hunting with his son. You're out hunting. You have injected yourself into the food chain, my friend.
Yeah.
Gets attacked. He fires at the animal. It was about 6 o'clock Friday evening. Right? He draws his handgun, fires several rounds, causing the bear to disengage and flee. However, he struck himself in the leg, in the lower leg, with the gun. So he gets rushed to the hospital. Okay. I feel bad for the guy. Not mad at him. Shoot the bear. Absolutely. Do whatever you can to protect you and your son. However, now they are looking for the bear. What for? They're investigating the attack, and they're searching for the bear. What are you investigating? Motive? Are you ridiculous? What is wrong with you? What are you investigating? The bear attacked people in the woods while hunting. Is that a shocker?
Everything needs an investigation anymore.
And I know why you're searching for the bear, so you can kill it.
For
what reason?
So it won't attack anyone else.
Don't go in the woods. It's their home.
Well, yeah. Don't insert logic into this conversation.
I don't get it. I mean, there's no reason.
No.
I don't even care if the bear comes into a neighborhood. You don't kill the bear. You relocate it.
Yeah.
Tranquilize it. The bear's only being a bear.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're very presumptuous. We're very, the word is presumptuous. Or is it presumptuous? We're very, who do we think we are? I'm trying to say. We decide, well, in the realm of public safety, we must euthanize this animal. You are hunting in the woods, right?
Right.
Another one happened in October, on the 15th of October. A grizzly bear mauled 2 college wrestlers hunting in a national forest 25 miles east of this place to where the other people were in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
You're in its domain. It smells food. It's
Right.
you. You're the food. We just think we have the right to be and do anything we want. We have no right to go after this bear because it went after somebody. I don't care if you were sitting in your backyard. Tranquilize the bear, transport it to safe haven where it can have a natural existence,
Mm-hmm.
and move on.
Yeah. I mean, preservation of life. What? Somehow
And-
that's gotten lost.
The same thing the other day. Somebody was attacked out in the woods, attacked by an animal, and they killed the animal. What are you doing? It's ridiculous. We don't kill home invaders. Right? They have rights.
Yeah.
Well, we're invading their home,
Right.
and they're going, well, look, dinner just walked by. Sweet. They don't know, oh, I better not get caught doing this. They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, there was 2 cubs involved in the other story. So the other story, and I don't know the whole details, but the lady was attacked by a bear.
Mm-hmm.
They investigated and found 2 cubs. So the mother was protecting her children. They killed the mother and released the 2 bears into the wild.
Where's the brains? I thought people that worked with the animals and the wildlife and nature and all that were trained and educated. That just
But you
seems
can't
like a
teach
pretty.
compassion.
No, you can't. But then you shouldn't be doing that job.
Amen. I don't get it. Well, there was the local guy, the veterinarian, who's in jail now for beating his dog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you see the worst? Like, these rescues plead for you to help them, and you see the worst that these dogs go through, and then you beat your dog. It's a cruel world we live in, and
It
it's
is.
easy to get wrapped up in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very imperative to disengage from it and understand people are screwed up, and there's no fixing a lot of it.
Nope. You're right. It's
Crazy.
yeah, I don't get it.
I don't like the kill it notion,
Mhm.
right? Who are we to decide? We're just killing because it's, well, in the interest of public safety. No, they have a right to exist as well. They have a right to look for food as well,
Mm-hmm.
especially if we inject ourselves into their environment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with killing an animal even if it does come into a residential area. Close your door and lock it. Yeah, a bear can get through. But, I mean, if that's the case, you're in deep trouble anyway if it decides it's going to break through a window.
Well, and at that point, it becomes personal protection, and that's a different.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, for
You've
sure.
gone
Like
out
the
of your
guy
way.
shooting it, no big deal. Shoot it. I would too, because you got to protect yourself and your son.
Well, and in that case, you've gone out of your way to make sure that you were protected and you were not hurting the animal. But if the animal's coming after you, then to me, it's like it feels like on the street or in your own home. If the animal's coming after you, then you got to protect yourself.
You'd be wrong not to.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't give us, I just can't, I don't understand the notion of just automatically, in the name of public safety, just going out to kill something. That's my problem with it.
Well, whoever's doing it feels powerful. It's, a justification of their ego, and they're the one doing the public service. They're protecting everybody. Look at me, Mr. Big,
Mm-hmm. Talk about protecting the public. Let's switch gears to TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could. I recommend people delete it from your phone. I recommend getting rid of it completely and finding another way to make an ass of yourself. But let's face it, that ain't going to be the way it goes. A TikTok trend about mouth taping while you sleep can be dangerous.
You think?
The amount of stupid this involves is amazing. These are being spread by TikTok. They allow this to go on. I don't know if they invent it or if some other dum-dum does, or if they got somebody that they're actually paying to destroy our children's mind. Dumbing down of America. All you got to do is upload to TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So the social media platform TikTok has helped spread yet another potentially dangerous idea. Taping your lips shut to stop mouth breathing at night. So you're going to breathe out your nose the whole night, in and out. That's got to be good for the system.
Well, that's great if you can, but some people can't. They have obstructions or whatever. The way your face is physically built sometimes.
In fact, sleep specialist Dr. Raj Desgupta says if you have obstructive sleep apnea, this can be very dangerous. Duh. It's dangerous anyway. Stupid. It's even more stupid than dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
You're right.
Obstructive sleep apnea, which is the complete or partial collapse of the airway, is one of the most common and dangerous sleep disorders. Over 1 billion people between the ages of 30 and 69 are thought to have this condition.
Mm-hmm.
Millions more undiagnosed.
Right.
You could wake up dead.
Mm-hmm. Nope, that's very true.
One young woman touts the benefits of beauty sleep as the reason to imprison her lips each night.
Oh, jeez.
Imprison my lips. I tape my mouth shut every single day. Sleeping properly is really important to anti-aging and looking and feeling your best.
I can think of other reasons to tape one's mouth shut. There's a couple anyway.
But it would be while they're awake.
Is it? Well, while they're awake. Maybe it's an act of chastity. Maybe it's an act of, keeping yourself from sounding like the fool. There's... But for beauty sleep, I don't see it.
Despite the downside, painfully losing facial hair and or damaging soft tissue around your mouth, another dumb TikTok video recommends regular old paper tape. There's a lot of fancy mouth taping tapes on the market. There's no mouth taping tapes. Who markets that?
Well, nobody has yet, but don't be surprised if one shows up. Oh, we got our idea from TikTok.
One woman so stupid, she couldn't even recall why she started taping her mouth at night. Truth be told, she said, I don't know. I saw it on TikTok and I can't remember what the benefits were, but it helps me stay asleep. Okay. I'm sorry, I'd have the opposite. It would help me stay awake.
Yeah.
Tape my mouth shut. Yeah. TikTok. Make sure you get it for your kids for Christmas. Christ's sake.
Wait for the upgrade, TikTok genius.
Apparently, this is not new. People have been looking for ways for years to shut their mouth at night. Mouth breathing leads to snoring, excessive thirst, dry mouth, bad breath, gum disease, malocclusion, whatever the hell that is, or where the upper and lower teeth don't align.
Well, yeah, well, so does eating, I suppose.
I don't understand. This is crazy. Who writes this stuff? In childhood, when the tendency to breathe via the mouth often starts, the tendency to breathe starts when you're born. And we automatically do it, right? Isn't it in the nose to filter it and out the mouth to get rid of it? Isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
I guess. I don't even know if it's that formal. I mean, if I keep my mouth shut, then I'm breathing in and out of my nose. So in that case, what, am I doing it wrong? It's...
So the tendency to breathe via the mouth often starts as childhood. This condition can lead to the child developing mouth-breathing face. Is this like, well, if you make that face too long, it's going to stick that way?
I've never heard of mouth-breathing face.
Well, guess what? Mouth-breathing face is a narrowing face with receding chin or jaw. It links to learning difficulties and behavioral problems in childhood. Don't worry, there's a book. Journalist James Nestor allowed scientists to stop up his nose with silicone and surgical tape for 10 days in order to see just what mouth breathing would do to his health. The book, Mouth Breathing. Wait, no. His book is called Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art. This is not a skit. This is real. Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art. He said the impact was shockingly fast. He developed obstructive sleep apnea. His blood pressure, pulse, and heart rate shot up. His blood oxygen levels plummeted, sending his brain into a murky fog. I had no idea it was going to be that bad. The snoring and sleep apnea was so dramatic and it came out so quickly that everyone was floored. Well, wait a minute. The bimbo at the top of the article said how beneficial it was, and I sleep so good at night.
They think so, anyway. They're sleeping. How do they know how good they're sleeping?
Nose breathing is best, and here's why. Breathing via the nostrils is healthier, experts say. Fine hairs in your nose, called cilia filter, or called cilia, filter out dust, allergens, germs, and environmental debris, including COVID-19. Nose breathing also moisturizes incoming air, while dry air breathed in through the mouth can irritate the lungs. I knew all that. Nasal breathing lowers blood pressure by increasing nitrite oxide, a compound in your body that can be helpful for keeping your blood pressure under control. Who needs that? I got blood pressure pills.
I got pills. I'm good.
Breathing through the nose is relaxing unless somebody farts in your general area. Then it's not so nice, which is why we often recommend it, along with yoga and meditation. But no medication. Meditation is a way to promote sleep.
I don't know.
This
the
gets
debate
even
goes
better.
on. Yeah.
If, however, you still decide you want to give mouth taping a shot, don't tape your mouth horizontally like you're the hostage of a serial killer. Just a bit of tape placed vertically over the lips is supposed to work. I doubt very much I could keep my mouth shut with one little strip of tape, but I'm just saying. I doubt 2 stitches in the middle would stop me from ripping them open.
No, I say if you're going to do it right. You know, go straight across. Lock it up.
Don't worry, there's a middle ground. It's called mouth puffing. in which the research participants puffed air in and out of their mouths on each side of the tape.
Defeats the
Find
purpose.
something better to do with your time.
Thank you. Thank you. So strange. So strange.
Oh my God. I'm dumber now that I've talked about this. My IQ went from, are you alive, to, nope. Let me off the earth. I'm done. This ride's too much for me. Oh my goodness.
The crazy that people will do. And make it sound normal.
What's that?
And try to make it sound normal.
I mean, obviously, there's going to be people that chime in and go, no, this works for me. I've got this condition. I've got this condition, whatever. Always something for somebody. But overall, I guess I'm blessed. I've said it the other day. I'm blessed. I don't have those problems. And I mean, I'm glad. I sleep normal. I might snore. I don't know. I sleep alone. So no, I don't snore. Like the tree falls in the forest, there ain't nobody there. Nobody hears it. So why do people... TikTok is a thing. I understand that. I'll never have it. I accidentally downloaded it when I got my new phone because it automatically recommends downloads for you. And I accidentally clicked, but I tell you what, it uploaded and I uninstalled it instantly. I thought about getting rid of my phone. Because unlike a lot of people, I believe and trust our military, and they will not allow it on their phones. And there's a reason for it.
Yep, very possible. That in this, in our world with our electronics and our mobile digital world that we live in, I don't know what you can really trust as far as information goes. There's way more information out there about all of us than we even know.
And what we even need.
Right.
And that goes for anything. Like how in tune with the world do we need to be? And if we're in tune with the world, how out of tune does that put us from our world? Right? Because we're supposed to all have this little bubble we live in called individuality. And in that little bubble, we include other people, right? Loved ones, family, friends, and stuff like that. We're allowing everything in that bubble, even stuff that doesn't matter to us. And then it gets us all upset and emotional. And then we lose our ability to reason and to talk, communicate.
All right.
Sad thing. Where are we at for break? 9:12. What time did we come back? 8:45, right? So we're about break time.
Yep.
All right. We are going to take a quick break. We got 3 songs coming up. We'll be back. We're going to start talking about a woman who claims her father is one of the most prolific, would that be the word for it?
Prolific?
Most notorious, what?
Prolific?
Prolific, that's it. Serial killer in American history.
Oh boy.
Proud little daughter there.
Do tell.
Well, we're going to talk about it because the police are going, it's a hell of a story, honey, but we need proof. If he's the most notorious, prolific killer in American history.
Let's do an investigation. Do an investigation.
Inquiring minds want to know. We'll find out. We're going to break. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. We'll be right back. Keep it live. So we got 1, 2, 3 songs. 9:25.
Okay.
We come back. I'm just sticking on. Well, we're on break, but there's nobody there, so I will. I'll put it down what time we're coming back. 9:25.
Very good.
All right.
Welcome to Adam's Apple, your neighborhood LGBT bar serving all your favorite drink. With friendly and knowledgeable bartenders that keep the party going and make sure your needs are met.
It's the cheers of the gay bar. Your bartenders know who's coming in, where they're going to sit, how long they're going to be.
Kick back and enjoy some fresh air on their large enclosed heated patio. Open year-round with music and weekly barbecues. Karaoke every Thursday night where you're the star. And Mexican Fiesta on the last Monday of every month. Located at 18931 West Warren, Detroit, Adam's Apple.
Hi. For the smell of it. A little salt and pepper. Shoot, baby. Oh, the House of Pain in full effect, absolutely, on a hump day. All right, I hope you guys are enjoying your day like I'm enjoying mine. I feel bad about being so happy, but here I sit, happier than a pig in poop, I guess you'd call it. Isn't that what they call it? All right. A sheriff in western Iowa says that local, state, and federal authorities are actively investigating in a rural area where a woman claims her late father disposed of dozens of bodies of people he had killed over the last several decades. This is an active investigation, right? Claims her dad was a notorious serial killer who buried bodies on their property. According to his daughter, Donald Dean Studdy murdered 5 or 6 women a year over several decades and buried them in and around an abandoned well on his property. Now, Thurman, Iowa, population 167 people, as of the last U.S. Census, is obviously a small city near the Iowa-Nebraska state line. About 40 miles from Omaha, Nebraska, sits the property that he used to own. October 21st, 2 cadaver dogs took to the site and had hits indicating possible existence of decomposing remains in the area of the well. So the sheriff says she's got a hell of a story, but we don't have any proof of anything other than what we had a cadaver dog hit on. We've got to have more proof than that. Well, now they're getting the DCI, Division of Criminal Investigation, in for help. Okay, now they're going to try to find out. Now, it's a heck of a story, but is there credibility to it? And how does she know? Is she part of this, or how does she know? Is she part of this? So they're putting together a complete game plan, but they are actively looking. It's in its infancy stages as of today. About 70 victims. Lucy Studdy, Studey, said her father killed roughly 70 women, mostly prostitutes and runaways, and buried them on the family's 5-acre spot near the well. Now, she initially reported this in 2021. Then they began looking into her claims further after the second time when she said there are 5 or 6 dead women buried in the land. Her dad died in 2013. How does she know? That's what I got to know. Was she part of this? Now, here's the problem. The bodies have been buried in and around the old well in a wooded area that's been logged, right? So it's no longer a wooded area. They're now trying to get permission to get in there from the current owners of the property to get in there to check and see. Another problem is once they get in there, 90 feet deep is this well. A major undertaking. Now, another thing is a town of 167 and 70 women killed, that would mean a lot of these are from out of town. But if they're homeless and prostitutes, a lot of times they could be missing for years without anybody even knowing they're missing. So, is there truth to the story or not? But 70 missing from 167 is 45% of your population, pretty much. So obviously they would have to be out-of-towners. I almost said strays, but people aren't strays.
No, that not the right word. I think people use the word transient and, mobile, perhaps.
They're going to try to do everything they can to corroborate the story. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. Do you want it to be true or do you not want it to be true in that case? You know what I mean? Because it's like, if it's true, hopefully you can find the bodies and 70 families can have closure to where my loved one is.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's just a ploy, then what? But it could be. Maybe she's just looking for publicity.
Suppose that's possible. I mean, the more outlandish the story sounds, the more likely it's a publicity thing.
Yeah.
Because
Now, the
it
man
takes
did
too
have a
much-
criminal record. He had a history of arrests. Obviously, probably none as what he's being accused of.
Mm-hmm.
So, the most famous serial killers on record in the United States, the most prolific, Samuel Little, definitively tied to 60 murders of women across the nation.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
Green River Valley killer Gary Ridgway confessed to 60 murders when he was arrested in 2001 and suspected to have killed more than 70 women. Little died in 2020, serving a life sentence. Ridgway is 73 years old, is serving multiple life sentences in Washington State in connection with 49 of the 60 he admitted to. And they suspect at least 10 more. I just couldn't imagine. You talk
That's
about
fine.
missing what life's all about.
Well, not only that, but the number of people that one person can get away with. I mean, and this wasn't done like for that number. It wasn't done like execution style or anything, right? These were one at a time killings.
I mean, yeah, it would have to be because you got to be able to overpower them and everything too.
I mean, so how do you get that many under your belt there without somehow getting caught, leaving a trail, something, being investigated. We found something in an investigation. How nice. That's bizarre that can, go on for that long.
People get famous, though. Jack the Ripper, right? Don't really know his real name, right? That was in the Whitechapel district of London in 1888, murdered 5 women, all prostitutes, mutilated their corpses. Yeah. Police surmised that there was a surgeon, a butcher, or somebody skilled with a scalpel. He mocked the community and the police by sending letters outlining the acts. Never had they identified who Jack the Ripper is. And that was in 1888.
Wow.
Now, starting in 1978, at just 18 years old, Jeffrey Dahmer was not arrested until 1991, when a would-be victim escaped and led police back to his Milwaukee home. That's where a lot of the details came out. The photos of mutilated bodies, body parts strewn across the apartment, had a vat of acid to dispose of the victims. He killed 17 people, mostly men of color. Did prison time for molestation and a second time for murder, killed by his fellow inmate in 1994. What about Dr. Death, Harold Shipman? Killed at least 218 patients, though quite likely closer to 250. This was a London doctor between 1972 and 1998. Worked in 2 different offices, killing the whole time. Wasn't until the undertaker, who was surprised by the sheer number of cremation certificates that he was a part of. Most of them were elderly women who died in bed, not at night, but during the day. He got caught because he tried to concoct a will for a victim that named him the beneficiary. And then the daughter became suspicious of the victim's daughter, and he was convicted for it because he got greedy.
Right. Well, that's so blatant too. It's well, you got to expect you're going to get caught at some point when you're doing something like that.
Construction worker John Wayne Gacy. Right. He was a clown for birthday parties.
Now there's a scary one.
Mm-hmm. Suspicion surrounded him in 1978 when a 15-year-old boy, last seen with him, went missing. Not the only time families of missing boys had pointed their fingers at him, but it was the first time authorities took it seriously. Soon after, they accessed his home, and the smell of 30 dead bodies in a 4-foot crawl space allowed him to be convicted of murder. 33 people, with additional counts of rape and torture, executed by lethal injection in 1994.
Ugh, that's a dead giveaway. Ugh.
I mean, you can smell it in your house.
Well, if you can smell it in your house, you got to be able to smell it around the house too. Like, you know, somewhere somebody had to go, you know what? There's a big old stank coming from over here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody ought to investigate.
Yeah, I mean, well, H.H. Holmes, the pharmacist from Chicago who turned a hotel into a torture castle. Ahead of the 1893 World's Fair, Holmes moved to Chicago and started outfitting a 3-story hotel with all manner of nefarious contraptions, including gas lines, secret passages and trapdoors, hallways to dead ends, chutes to the basement, soundproofed padding, torture devices strewn throughout a maze. The gas allowed him to knock out his guests before the worst of what was to happen came next, often on his surgical tables. He then burned the bodies in the furnace, selling the skeletons to medical schools and running life insurance scams. He copped to more than 30 murders, only caught because a fellow scammer turned him in for falling short on a financial agreement. He was hanged in 1896. Imagine that.
I still can't get past how, with that many killings and that much, you know, even all of these, how does it get that far?
It's amazing. We allow it. We see the pattern. We see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
That kid who killed the 4 students in Oxford, Michigan, begged for help.
Mm-hmm.
The adults in his life let him down completely. Now he stands in court, pleading guilty to 34 counts of murder and terror and everything. He begged for help. He begged for help. And we gave him the middle finger. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of guilt and blame to go on there.
Mm-hmm. And we see it a lot. So that's the answer to how.
But
because we don't believe it could possibly happen. That odor, it's got to be the garbage. It's not dead bodies.
But even at that point, so yeah, the Oxford thing. So it happened once there. Once per offender, you know what I mean? He did his deed, now he's paying for it. We're talking about guys that have done, 20, 30, 40 murders.
How about Pedro Lopez? Still out there. Never caught. Linked to more than 300 murders in Colombia and Ecuador and Peru. 300, at least 100 of those murders were tribal women. He was arrested in 1980. Police found the graves of more than 50 of his preteen victims. Later convicted of murdering 110 girls in Ecuador, confessed to 240 more in Colombia and Peru. The monster of the Andes didn't even spend 20 years in prison. He was released in 1998 for good behavior. More than 20 years later, his whereabouts remain unknown. So Pedro Lopez is more than likely somebody else now. Murdered all those people. And the birthday song just played through. But your birthday, happy birthday. We don't celebrate that today. 20 years. They don't even know where he's at. All these murders. Could be anywhere in the world. Scary stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Most of these people, how do you murder all these people and you get out for good behavior? What?
Yeah, problem with good behavior releases, especially when it comes to rape and murder and things like that. I don't care how well you behave behind the scenes, but
Correct you are.
don't get it. It's different than other kinds of crimes that are non-violent and at that point you're hogging up the prison system for those that need to be in there, like the 20, 30, 40 murderer.
Right. Well, here's one. This is a perfect example of why this is one of the ugly heads of this many-headed beast of our violence in this culture. Ted Bundy loved the attention his murders garnered him.
Mm-hmm.
And many in the United States were more than happy to give him that attention. We make them celebrities.
Right.
It becomes a way of them to be known. Ted Bundy killed mostly college-age women.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. Seeking attention, and a lot of times people that are doing that and are at that level have had obviously serious mental issues and situations in their own life that have led them there. But we talk about people's mental health and counseling and that, and again, I don't know. Obviously, I'm missing something. I'm the ignorant one. I don't see how these kind of things go that far, that long, without being addressed. And even when something tragic happens, it still goes on, and another one happens, and it's still, where do you? I don't know.
It's an addiction to them because, like Ted Bundy, he was killing people in Colorado, Washington, Oregon, Utah. Arrested in Colorado, convicted of kidnapping, escaped custody, moved to Florida, where he killed multiple times more. Then he's arrested, captured the attention of the nation, acted as his own lawyer. It was believed to have been the first televised murder trial. He welcomed interviews, boasted to his fans he created, eventually executed in an electric chair in 1989. The original Fry, Daddy. Don't call him Daddy. Unbelievable.
It is.
It's always been a thing, apparently, killing. So now this lady accuses her dad. I got questions for this bitch. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the other daughter says, no, my father was not the man that she's making him out to be. He was strict, but he was a protective parent who loved his kids.
Mm-hmm.
Strict fathers don't just turn into serial killers. I'm 2 years older than Lucy. I think I would know if my father murdered. No, maybe not. But how does she know? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's my whole thing holding me up. How does she know? It's a sad thing. You know that? It's a sad thing. I can't fathom it. I'm glad to say I couldn't fathom it. I think most people cannot fathom it.
Mm-hmm.
They're actively investigating it because she claims it's true, and they got to look. I mean, and then if the cadaver dogs to actually smell something there, you can't play that off. Like, who knows? It could have been a homeless person died and then, it was a storm and buried him.
Mm.
It doesn't happen. Unbelievable. Do you have a word of the day? I know it's a little bit early, but we never get to it seems, until the very last minute.
It's a little bit early. I always have a list of them, and I start about this time picking out one that might be appropriate. And let's see.
I want to get back into our conversation about the affordable housing, and because we was talking about just as like a places to move type thing, but then Derek had brought up the living conditions affordable housing provides, or is the residual effect of crime, blight, things like that, and it's all things we have to address, and it can't be turned into a race conversation. We have to understand the majority of the race that lives in the said area. Southwest Detroit, for instance, when you go to Detroit, there's an area literally called Mexican Town.
Right.
And it's where a lot of our Latino families live.
Mm-hmm.
It's lower income, it's lower housing values, but they're good, strong communities. The people love living there. You always hear it on the news. They go, this is a quiet community. When bad things happen, it doesn't always happen over here.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, they tend to be stronger, stronger knit neighborhoods. Like you said, stronger communities overall, people helping people and doing what it takes to, pull it together as opposed to other places.
We have to find the blend of every person for themselves, and let's go make sure that people are taking advantage of our good graces.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's a River Rouge, which is a low-income, small town outside of the Detroit area. Every weekend, rain, shine, snow, ice, sleet, doesn't matter. This guy's out there providing food to the needy through donations, through volunteer time of their own. They feed these families, and these families rely on this food. No questions asked. You don't have to show ID. You don't have to be a resident of the city. They're just helping. And that's what we need. The city, there's a lot of these in the small towns. There's no big box stores there. There's no major grocery stores there. You're not going to find Kroger, Publix, Piggly Wiggly. They don't go to these small towns, right?
Right.
Part of the reason is the theft. Part of the reason is profit. You can't run this huge corporation in this area that's not going to garner a lot of revenue and profit. That's what they're in business for. So you get these mom and pop stores, and they got to charge a little bit more. And the problem is, the cost of living there is too high for the lower income. It's a revolving door, and that's one thing that we could address when we start talking about affordable housing is undervalued property, low taxes, stuff like that. And we can combine all of that into another whole subtopic of affordable, what the residual effects are of it. So anyway, did you come up with your word of the day?
I did. The word of the day is fantod. F-A-N-T-O-D, fantod. It's a state of irritability or tension, an emotional fit.
A fantod.
A fantod. Don't go having a fantod. Don't be feeling fantod today. Irritability, tension. These are things that yoga might take care of for you.
You go have your little fantod over there. We don't want to hear it.
That's right. Keep your fantod to yourself. Don't be fantodding in my space. I've never heard of such a thing, a fantod, in all my years. I've had my share of emotional fits and irritability, but I've never once heard the word, so learned something new today.
Yeah. A fantod.
A fantod.
Right. Gotta like it. Well, we had a nice little history lesson this morning. We talked about the First Amendment, the freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about its limitations, legally and socially acceptable.
Right.
We talked about knowing when to shut up, which Ye didn't know when to shut up, so he's being shut up. I don't feel bad for the man, but I also sympathize for people that are going through clinical diagnosed mental issues, bipolar, schizophrenia, stuff like that. We all have our mental episodes. That's not an excuse for poor behavior. and hatred and anger. But again, we have the right to be that way. And we have the right to pay the consequences for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way it goes, pretty much. So there you have that in a nutshell.
True.
Always be prepared to, well, first of all, think before we speak. We should not speak out of anger. We should think for a moment. And I'm bad because I come back smart mouth, real quick comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be careful what I say because I don't want to say the wrong thing and upset somebody for no reason and then just be making a butt of myself. And that's what happens sometimes. So, but anyway, that does it for us for the day. Thank you for letting us in your house, car, or wherever you were listening. And remember, not only do they smell funny, opinions are a dime a dozen. Validations for parking and loyalty is not a word. It's a complete lifestyle. It's a way of being loyal to yourself, to your friends, to your family, to you, to yourself, most first and foremost, right? Life's too short to put your key to happiness in someone else's pocket. And in a world where we can be anything, let's be kind to one another. We have no idea what a kind word and a friendly smile does, the impact on someone's life after we no longer see that person. That smile could be the thing holding them on for the next day. And if you hold on to it tomorrow and you got that winning Powerball ticket, baby, $700 million coming your way.
That's right.
That'll put a big smile on your face. Until Friday morning, I'm Sapphire Pates.
I'm just Bob.
We're out of here. Have a good Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that's that. Now we're going to end the broadcast and not let them sit there and just go, bitch, you guys are still on. All right, thanks for watching.
Yes.
Here, let's do this. Turn that off. Get out of my ear. Turn that on.
There you
How's
go.
that?
Good.
There is an echo.
Well, now there is, but that's the first time I've heard it.
Cujo said it was an echo on YouTube. But
Okay. I didn't hear it in here at all until just now.
that's weird. Oh. All right. Oh, wait. We got to end the broadcast. That's what I was going to do. Thanks for watching. If you're watching later, thanks for watching. And we'll see you Friday. Sorry about the echo. It's kind of weird. Pissing me off. But whatever.
We'll figure it out.